Yo, ladies and gentlemen, in the last video we looked at a super cheap mangrove farm design, and I took it and I even scaled it down a little bit more on the resources, and I'm gonna give my shot at doing a block by block tutorial. Now, we don't normally do these on the channel. It's not normally the type of thing that I unfortunately have time for. You know, life gets in the way, and I'm trying to get the rest of my content out. But I was really happy with this mangrove farm for the resources that go into it. We're going to be doing the version that uses the snow golem TNT duper. And as we can see behind me, this is still going to get the 2200 logs per hour, the 733 roots per hour. We're still unfortunately using the 4 slime balls, but the rest of it is no nether materials. So it's going to be super cheap, easy to build. First things first, we're going to do it over an ocean just so that we can make sure that we limit that tree height and we don't get, like the grass and dirt blocks of the land in the way. So you could build this up in the air if you wanted to, but we're going to be doing it just over an ocean. So nice and easy. In this chest right here is all the materials you're going to need. I'm going to be doing this in creative, so I just have a copy of each of those blocks for me, but right here are the material counts you need. Note, this is just any temporary block. You could just bring extra logs or whatever you want to do just for staircasing things, for scaffolding to things, that type of thing. You want to bring your bone meal. So I just, have a stack of bone blocks here to represent that. Bring bone meal. There's going to be a couple chests for bone meal, and then you're going to need your propagoules. If you need that propagule farm, definitely check out in the timestamp of the last video. We do have a propagule farm in there as well. We're going to be doing this over the ocean, so you probably don't need 2 iron buckets, but if you're doing it up in the air, just 2 iron buckets so you can get an infinite water source, and we can get our water that way, and then we need the materials for our snow golem as well. Those aren't going to appear in the schematic. So without any further ado, let's get building. So first thing we want to do is pick our center point. We want to make sure we have a good distance, let's say 20 blocks just to be safe, that you're surrounded by. Again, if you're in the air, you don't have to worry about that. If you're in the water, just make sure you're a little bit away from everything. We're going to scaffold up to sea level right there, and that's where we're going to start off. We're going to take a dropper. We're going to go dropper facing up, and then dropper facing this direction. This is going to be directional because we want to make sure that no beehives get in the way, and the direction those can generate on the mangrove trees is directional. So you're going to face this towards the east. If you don't have mini HUD or something like that to see the direction, you're not sure where to find it in the F3, face it towards the direction that the sun comes up in the morning. So we can see that this dropper right here is facing the sun coming up. Next thing, we want to take 3 of our hoppers, and in that same direction, we want to have them coming out, facing that way. Take 2 of our chests, double chest right there. This is going to be the chest for your propagoules. So you can put your propagoules in here. That's going to feed into the system to refresh the player with propagoules. We're going to put our piston on this middle hopper right here, and then we want a solid block like a plank. Then we're going to put our slabs in this little L shape here this way, and then another solid block, has to be a solid block. Then another slab. Put 2 top slabs. Again, almost all of these slabs are going to be top slabs, so just note that because we're going to be putting redstone on them. So 2 top slabs coming out there to meet up there, and then redstone dust all along here, and redstone dust facing into there. And then we want a staircase up 1 block. If you're using Tweakaroo, you can just use Tweakaroo to place it on the corner, but I'm going to do these with the staircase blocks. Place our solid block right there. Redstone dust goes on top of that block, and then we put in some temporary blocks here. And we're going to come over here. We're going to put our top slabs right there and there. Put a redstone dust there, and then a repeater on 2 ticks facing this way. And then we want a staircase up 4 blocks with our planks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can get rid of our temporary blocks here. We're done with those. And redstone dust all the way up the staircase. We're then going to come up 1 more block, and we're going to turn directions and come out 2. And then we need to start our slab staircase. Probably the easiest way to do this is going to be to put down just 2 columns of temporary blocks. So pillar up by 5 blocks. We can hop down. Then we're going to do slab, 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 slab. When we get to the top, we just need 1. So 1 top slab again. And then we need dust on the top of each one of these slabs. So as we're coming back down, put your dust down, and then dust there. And then we need to do our 4 pistons. So once again, let's come out by some temporary blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those pistons are once again going to be facing east. Now we can get rid of all our temporary blocks again, and this part of the staircase is done. Let's come back down here. Then we're going to make a little tube around this to make sure that our propagules that don't get picked up by the player go back into the hopper. So place a temporary block there. Then we want to come around here, place a trapdoor in this direction. So when it opens, we have that facing down. And then we can put a couple of blocks on that side and then a couple of blocks on this side. Then we can get rid of that temporary block. Come around the back of here, get your solid block out, and then we are going to put slabs 1, 2, and then turn this way, 1, 2, another solid block. We're going to drop down and put a temporary block under there so we can put more of our top slabs, 1, 2, 4, and then turn one this way. We're going to put down our piston, and then we're going to make an L shape out of the slabs. We're going to come down 3, 1, 2, 3, come over this way, and then we want to place a temporary block and get a solid block right up here. Place a temporary block here, and then we're going to come up 1 and go 1 more this way. We're going to put our lever on top of there, and then we can start building our clock. So let's turn this lever on. We're going to put our torch down right there, and then a repeater facing this way on 3 ticks. Repeater facing this way on 3 ticks. Then we can put down our redstone dust. That's going to pop up that piston head. Come out the other side of the piston here that's facing up on these slabs. Place a repeater on 2 ticks. Dust coming up this way until we hit here. Repeater, 2 ticks. Dust over here. Now we need to add our 4-game tick clock, so we're going to drop back underneath. We're going to add another temp block on that temp block, and then we're going to come over with our slabs to make an L shape. So we're going to come over 5, so we're lined up with that chest there, and then come over this way too. And now we need to place down another temp block. Let's get our cobblestone out. We're going to place the first cobblestone there, and then we're going to place our 3 torches on the other 3 sides. Then we can place cobblestone blocks on top of each of the torches, so we don't have temp blocks there. And then we need to put our redstone dust there. That's going to start the clock. Once again, we're doing 3. You may end up not needing 3. It all depends on directionality of this, but if we put 3, then you know you're going to be fine. And then put another one right up there. Now let's get this clock turned off, because we only want it to come on when the machine is turned on. So we're going to put a repeater facing into that block, and then redstone dust coming all the way back underneath that lever. That will turn off that clock. Next, we're going to add in our system to get the bone meal in. So we want to put a dropper facing up, another dropper facing up, and then a dispenser facing west. So the opposite direction is that dropper there. We want to have a hopper coming into the side there, and a hopper coming into the side, and then we just keep this line going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put 2 double chests here, and 1 right there. You can extend this out if you want. So if you want to add in more bone meal to the system to keep it running longer, you can, just add on 2 more hoppers here and then 2 more chests and keep going. But we're just going to do this just to start off with. Then we can take composters and put them on this side of the hopper line right here. What that's going to do is make sure that these don't pick up anything else, and then the composters will help reduce any hopper lag that may be there. Now we need to get our cross of dirt in there. So we're going to start here. This is going to be our center point. This is where we're going to be planting the propagules. We want to come out each direction by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to add in our trapdoors to not block the player's vision when you're placing propagules. So we're going to put a temporary block there. And then on the top of that block, we're going to put our trapdoors, 1 there, 1 there, and then hold shift and add 1 in that corner as well. That will keep vines from coming down in front of the player. Then we can get rid of that temp block. Now we need to add in our column to push the logs and also limit how low it can grow so we don't get mangrove roots in the spot where we want to place the propagules. So first we want to place down some cobblestone and some logs. We want to go log, cobblestone, and do that 6 times. So 1, 2, a total of 6. Then we want to place sticky pistons as we go up, right on top of the cobblestone with the sticky side facing north. And then log in front of it. 2, 3, 4. We can come back down, go ahead and throw it on a torch just so that we start lighting things up. We're going to be adding in a few torches just for a purpose of lighting up for mobs. If you're not concerned about it, don't worry about it. And then right back here, right behind the cobblestone on this, we're going to add a temporary block, add a solid plank, and then we're going to come back here with top slabs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that it lines up with this. We can put redstone on those, and then a repeater facing into this block. We got the repeater on 1 tick. We can come back in with dust there, and then once again planks. We'll put dust on top, and now we need to once again make another staircase of slabs. When survival, I'd come over here, I'd place down some slabs and just make a 2 wide column. And we can drop back down, get our slabs out. Then from the bottom, we're once again going to zigzag and staircase with slab, 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 all the way up. Then we want redstone dust on top of each slab, so as we're coming down from our little pillar here, each time put some dust up there. Last thing we need to do for this portion right here is get our sand block up there. It needs to be a sand block so it falls. And then you can get rid of your other temporary blocks. So there, we left those there. Any temporary blocks that are left behind, you can get rid of those. And go ahead and test it by flicking this lever right here and seeing if everything is working in the clock, which will be working as you see right here. So again, we're going to put our propagoules in this chest right next to the player's position. And you should start seeing them being shot out then. And all of our bone meal in this chest. And this one. And you'll start seeing bone meal being fed into this top dispenser right here. Okay, so we have our system to actually grow the trees. Now let's go ahead and get in the system to blow them up and collect them. Okay, so we can easily calculate where we want the center of that to be. Come off of this hopper right here at the end of the composter line. You want to first come out 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then come this way 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right underneath that, once again, we want to pillar up to sea level. In this case, I've actually got some kelp right underneath, so that works. And then we can get rid of these temporary blocks. Now on top of that, we're going to add our first chest and then a hopper on top. That is going to be the center of our collection system. We can add on more chests here as well. This only needs to be a single speed hopper. So you can just like place some more hoppers under here and just keep them going. And then you could do another one over here, keep it going, and just do your regular stack of chests to add in more storage room. And then from the top of the hopper, we're going to do top slabs out 5 in each direction. We're just going to use these top slabs just to save resources. 1, 2, 3, 5. We're going to come up 5 this direction. Now off each one of these sides, we want to come out by 3. Add 2 temporary blocks. So the temporary block is at the corner. Add a third one. So that little L shape. And then 3 more slabs back in. And then you can fill in this section. We're going to do the same thing on the other 4 corners. Now we got that platform done. On each corner, we're going to go ahead and add another temporary block. Again, if you're going to be using Tweakaroo, you can probably skip this. We're just about to staircase some blocks. What we're doing here is we're making a little height difference here to give the water more room to flow towards the hopper. So we can have a little bit bigger of a collection area without having to fill it with as much water. So we're going to put planks on each one of these temporary blocks. We're going to come out on each side here with the temporary block. We only have to do this on one corner. We'll see why in a second. We'll make that. And then once again, we just need to use some temporary blocks just to make this kind of nice little hill shape here. We're going to temporary blocks again. We're going to do that same thing on the other corner here. So 2 corners are going to look like this. And then we just want to have walls going along the outside of the whole thing, stopping at that temporary block. Same thing over here. And now we just need to get that same shape on the other 2 corners. And this last corner I'm going to show is if we were doing it without Tweakaroo. So if we didn't have temporary blocks, I'm going to use Tweakaroo. We just place them on that offset like that, and just in the staircase pattern until they come up to a top. So kind of like a Cubert game there. And then in each corner, right up here, we're going to place our water. We're going to see it's going to flow all the way down, reach the corner of that hopper. Same thing on this. Water, water, water. And the water is all going to flow down to that one hopper then. Now we need to add in our system to actually blow up the blocks so that they go to collection. So we're going to come right here to the center where the water is flowing straight, and we're going to pillar up. So we're going to pillar up by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to come 1 to the side here, so towards the center of that collection. Then we're going to come back to the pillar and go up by another 2. 1, 2. We're going to add in our another one coming in this way, and then go up by 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to get our pistons, and starting at this block we're standing on right here, we're going to have them there facing in towards the water collection. We're going to do 4 on each side. Then we can get rid of these ones in between the pistons, as well as those, back down to this one right here. Now from here, we're going to make our smart pistons. So we want to come out by 1 there, get our torch on top of there, temporary block because we're going to staircase, plank right there, another temporary block to staircase, plank right there, another temporary block to staircase, plank right there. Then we can come just straight over and then right over behind the pistons. So up until we reach the second one, and we're going to put dust down on all these ones, feeding down to just there. That's where we're going to stop. We want to put a repeater facing into that block on 2 ticks. Take our furnaces. This is something I added just for when you first start up the farm. Sometimes you get an extra block like down here that's not going to hit the smart piston first and might, break this repeater, break the system. If we add in these furnaces, 1, 2, 3, that's going to stop that from happening. Now over here next to this plank, go ahead and add on 2 temporary blocks so we can get up there, because we need to add a short slab staircase. This is going to be real short. And then we could put a plank right there on this corner and put our next slab there. Redstone dust on top of the planks. We can get rid of our temporary blocks there. And then we want to once again come over here with our planks. So these should be solid blocks. Put our redstone dust down and connect those. Now we need to get our signal up to our duper. So put a solid block on top of that piston. Temporary block, solid block. We can put our dust on there facing into this block now. And we're going to put a torch on top of that one. Then a temporary block on this corner. We're going to put down a solid block on top of the torch. We're going to hop up. We're going to put a torch on this side of the block so that'll turn off right away. Place your next temporary block right there with a solid block on top, and then a solid block on top of here as well. And then we can put our redstone dust right there. We're going to do a temporary block followed by a solid block. Now we're going to put our piston down, and on each side a solid block, redstone dust facing into there, and then we're going to need repeaters. This one is going to be on 4, so facing out that direction is going to be 4. This one is going to be 3. So it's going to look like that. Put our sand block down there, and then let's get the delay in for the trapdoor. So another temporary block there. We're going to kind of curve on this block right here. We're going to come over 2 and then over 2. Now we can get our top slabs down. We're going to do 1 there and 2 this way, and then another 2 this way. Temporary block. And then a solid block on top of that. Then we want to have another top slab. We're going to do a temporary block. Top slab. 4. Go. And then solid block on top of there. We can get rid of the temporary blocks. This extra slab right here is going to have dust on it. The rest of them are going to have repeaters all at 4 ticks. So facing this way. Then we take a turn. We face this way. 4 ticks this way. All at 4 ticks. Let's get in our holding cell for the TNT that will hold it while it's lit. So we're going to do 2 temporary blocks, and then we're going to place down our trapdoor. And on each side of that, we're going to place a solid block. So we probably need to get on top of here and do that. 1 around each side. We want to make sure we remember to get rid of those temporary blocks, because that's going to block the TNT. We can get out our water and then come up 1 more and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and water. That's going to be there just in case we have anything go wrong during our build. Actually running the farm, we could get rid of this water, but might as well have it there to catch any errant TNT that we set off. Now let's get our signal to our duper. So place a plank solid block up there, and then come over here. We're going to do a temporary block, 1 block up, and then another temporary block, staircase over, 1, 2, and then this is all going to be redstone dust on top of it. Then we can get rid of these temporary blocks. Now to add in the duper, let's go 1 more higher on this again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to come around. We're going to place a plank there. I'm just using a different type just so I can differentiate there. Doesn't really matter what type of plank you use again. I want a temporary block right here so we can get another plank staircased. I want to make sure that dust is facing into that plank. Come over this way, another 2 temporary blocks. So 1, 2. We'll get down another plank, and then we can get rid of these temp blocks. Place down another temp block so we can get a block over on this side and then a block on top. We can then break that. Now we need to get a torch under here for the smart piston. Get our dust there. We need to get a torch on this side to update everything, and then a piston right there. Next, place down 2 blocks in front of that piston. That'll push them over into place for us. So that's the spot we need to be at. And then we're going to come over here and place another piston right there. Now we're about to place the TNT, so make sure you do this in the same order so that we don't explode that TNT, have it push off to the side and actually blow up right here or something like that. So we're going to put down the TNT, place a slab there, put a lever right here, and then we can put our dust down so we can see that that dust is not aimed toward that at all. And then we can put our repeater over here on that 1 tick, and we keep the dust facing away from everything there. Now we put our lever down there. We're going to turn that lever on. That lever on, again, making sure that's not facing it. Then we need to have our piston facing this way, and and put down a block back there. That means when we send a signal into here, that's going to push this block over, but that's going to cut off this signal and aim the dust this way. We need to put a note block here, again, making sure the dust is still turned to the side. That's going to then update everything and start our reaction force that we want. I'm going to put a torch up here just so nothing spawns up here and doesn't mess with our golem. We don't want anything messing with our golem friend. I'm right here next to the note block, place a temporary block, and then we're going to place a cobblestone wall on each side. We can break that temporary block and then a spruce block on top of the note block. Now we're ready to summon in our golem. So snow, jack-o'-lantern, or carved pumpkin, same thing. We need to make sure we actually have snow layers there. That is what's actually going to update the TNT for us. That's one of the reasons why I said at the beginning, just do it over an ocean. So things like deserts, savannas, they're not going to work. Obviously, the nether, water, nether, yeah, but that's the point. We need to make sure that we have snow layers there. So if you don't have snow layers generating under your golem, you're not going to have any TNT going off. Last thing we need to do is just seal up the TNT. So having this TNT surrounded is going to make sure that it's always aligned inside that chute. And then we can come down here, and on the way we can break out all those temporary blocks on our way down. This one, let's go ahead and put a torch right here just so we can keep light going over that. Break our temporary pillar here, and that's gone. Last thing we want to do, come somewhere off to the side away from where your leaves are going to be, something like that. And we're going to add in a lightning rod. In this case, I have one just right over here, so that would be far enough. We could do one anywhere in a 128 block radius, but we just want to make sure that our golem doesn't get struck by lightning or start the tree on fire or anything like that. So in this case, I'm just going to pillar up over here and put down a lightning rod. I'm also going to go ahead and add on a couple of torches here to keep all this area lit up. Some torches down here by the collection area to keep that all lit up, just to make sure nothing will spawn while you're standing here, because everything that you built is inside the range and you're over the water, but you want to make sure that you don't get anything else spawning. If you're in a world where you're concerned with drown spawning and maybe throwing some tridents at your face, you can go ahead and close this area in when you come to run it. So we can close that in, close it over there, block up there, block there and there. And now we're safe from vision of that over there. And if you're a world where phantoms are a concern as well, just take another log and put it on top of this corner trapdoor, because you're going to be standing on that piston underneath that, and then you'll be able to get in there. And then if you don't have the option of just walking along this to get in anymore, you can close that, come here and walk on in and reopen that. Now it's time to run the farm. So you're either going to need an auto clicker, or you're going to need to use the F3T trick. If you have Tweakaroo, that comes with a clicker that can auto click your right mouse button. Do the place continuous. We are just going to use the F3T, so I'm going to show that. But first, come over here, flick that lever on. We're going to turn that on and then come down into position on top of this piston that's going up and down. And you want to look up here at this center dirt block and hold down your right mouse button. And now we're going to, while we're holding down right mouse button, press F3 and T on your keyboard. While this screen has appeared, let go of your mouse, and that is going to hold down a right mouse button for us. So now we see I can come in here and I'll automatically replant the propagules after they've grown. You're not going to get one growing every cycle. We just have the player drop back down so we don't accidentally grow an extra one that we don't need to, so we don't waste propagules. So this is what you'd look like without the protection systems in place. In this case, we can see I'm actually going to successfully get the bottom block first. So I didn't really need these furnaces, but it is possible to get this block first and break your redstone and kind of screw up your system. But we're going to see this is going to start going over to our TNT system. And once we get far enough in, it's going to start blowing the blocks up, and they're going to fall down into that collection for us. And that's it. Now you're going to be getting Mangrove. So once again, you could hook up a bone meal farm to feed into those chests right there, right behind my head. You could set up a propagule farm to feed into that chest down by the player's feet, so that you could keep this running infinitely. You could add on some more chests to add an extra bone meal if you're bringing that over from somewhere else. That's all fine. But see, so we don't have to worry about TNT with the duper. We can just run this as long as we got bone meal and as long as we got propagules. So that's it for this video. This is going to be kind of a tester. I've done a couple of block by blocks in the past, and it's not something I do often because I enjoy more of the design process. And there are tools like Lightmatica that exist out there for you to get the schematics. If you're not familiar with what that is, go look down in the video description. You can check that out. That is going to be a mod that's available for you to see things in schematic form, so you can come into these world downloads that I provide. And there will also be a world download in the video description with this, so you can see this version here as well as this one that's been run and run it for yourself. So if you like this video, let me know down in the comments. Go ahead and share this. That would be great if we get some shares on this video. Share it with your friends on Discord. Share it with your friends on Reddit. Do people have friends on Reddit? Are there friends on Reddit? Is that a thing? Or is that just where you go to get made fun of? I don't know. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.